Just in the last week, we were introduced to DoorDash's new Dasher Rewards program, and we just got a big update. I'm going to go through the complete guide with you in this video because some things are going away and something in here is basically going to put you in last place to make the most money. So number one, if you don't know, this is DoorDash's new Dasher Rewards program. It's a 3-tier program with Silver, Gold, and Platinum Dashers. Now, this is on the heels of some marketplaces getting completion rate changes. It's different, completion rate changes, that for basically everywhere in the country, it's always been 80%, but a few markets got 90%. Moving our attention back to this new rewards program, these marketplaces are affected by what DoorDash is still calling a pilot program. So Grand Rapids, Michigan, Corpus Christi, Texas, and Lubbock, Texas. Surprisingly, only 3 marketplaces so far, at least at the time of filming this video. Let me know if you have this. Click on your ratings tab. If you have this pilot program, that's where you're going to see it. Now, interestingly, DoorDash says this program consolidates the following existing programs under one program with a unified qualification criteria across acceptance rate, completion rate, and customer ratings. So now all of this, Top Dasher, Priority Access, Large Order Program or DoorDash Drive, Early Access Scheduling, and VIP support is all basically under this new umbrella pilot rewards program. Now, takeaway number one of many, there's chapters below to help you navigate all of this because there's a lot going on right now, is that these existing programs that I just showed you will no longer be active in these pilot submarkets. So again, the early access scheduling, the Top Dasher, etc., that is gone, and this is going to be the new thing. So if this new rewards program isn't in your marketplace just yet, you might be seeing it in the coming weeks and months. There's silver, there's gold, and there's platinum. So how does this all work, and what's the criteria to hit each of these? And ultimately, I mean, what you want to know is what is the strategy of which one should I go for? Should I go for any? Should I ignore this? What's the deal here? Unfortunately, in my opinion, a lot of this catalyst is on acceptance rate. So to get the minimum, just silver benefits, you need a 50% acceptance rate. But continuing, you need a 90% completion rate, a 4.5 customer rating for silver, no delivery requirements in the last 30 days, and 50 plus lifetime deliveries. And then continuing, basically again, kind of mimics priority access there because the next tier was 70% acceptance rate. It's the same thing here. The next tier here is now called gold, 70% acceptance rate, same completion rate, same customer rating, same lifetime deliveries. Now I'm going to show you the benefits of each tier here in a second, but drop a like on this video. If you can, consider subscribing. Now the platinum, that bumps up that acceptance rate from accepting every other order basically of 50% to now 70% of orders you'd have to accept to hit platinum level with a 95% completion rate. Think if that would make sense. So are you canceling 5% or more of your orders because you most likely have an 80% completion rate? Would you have any problem with a 95% completion rate? Customer rating bumps up a little bit to 4.7. I don't think that's going to be a big deal for you. And then 100 deliveries in the last rolling 30 days. Now, pay attention to this next part because like most any app in this gig economy, there's always new drivers. In fact, comment down below if this is your first day, week doing DoorDash, or if you're considering signing up, or you're just about to sign up and go through the background process, because here's why. You're going to benefit. If you're new, if you just started as a DoorDash Dasher, DoorDash says, quote, new Dashers will have access to special perks like Dash Anytime, priority access to high-paying orders, and VIP support on your first deliveries. Because as we saw after that, 50 plus deliveries, then you're in the workings of that new rewards program. Now, this next part might be the most important here. So what are the perks, who qualifies, and who might make the most money? Number one, the benefits here. Priority access to high paying orders. Get access to more high paying orders. Hold on. high paying orders. What are high paying orders? I'm glad you asked. DoorDash defines this as some of the highest paying orders in the area, but importantly, which can vary by area over time and by delivery distance. And they also say we calculate high paying orders based on total pay, which includes base pay, which is $2 to $10 on DoorDash's part. That's our minimum contribution, $2 to $10. Peak pay and tips. Now that makes sense, right? I mean, highest pay, yes, it's going to equate to all of that. Here's an example of a gold status dasher that has an indicator. This is what you're going to see if maybe eventually this comes to your marketplace. It will say, hey, because of your gold status, you got priority access to this order. $14.45 for 5.6 miles. Now our channel goal is $1.75 minimum paid out per mile. That's our ideal. But clearly, I mean, $2 to $3 plus. If you can make that, that's pretty stellar. This one is, yeah, it's very good on the dollars to mile ratio. So silver dashers get a priority to higher paying orders. The gold dashers get an increased priority, and then the platinum get the top priority to the highest paying orders. My question to you, and I guess DoorDash, comment this down below if you're a dasher or if you just want to comment, then isn't the algorithm supposed to consider who's in part, not in full, but in part, closest to the restaurant? Who's going to make this the most seamless delivery possible? Is it the dasher that is right by the restaurant, or someone that's going to drive 5 minutes just because they're a higher tier? I'm curious how that's going to work in practice. Access to large orders. That's the Drive program. It used to be only invite only via email, and you're going to need a catering bag. It's pretty easy. We have accessories linked down below in our team storefront. Check it out. But that's only for platinum dashers. And I'm wondering if that's going to be the sole entry point. What do you think about that? Is it still going to be invite only for, proficient dashers in a market via email? Are you going to still have that? Or is it solely going to be reserved for platinum dashers? And then that benefit that used to be called top dasher, that's going to go away in these marketplaces, Dash Anytime, also reserved for platinum dashers. Now, that benefit for platinum dashers for what used to be called top dasher, DoorDash says that this program's different insofar as it's a rolling qualification window versus top dasher. They just looked at the criteria basically on the last day of the month if you're hitting their criteria. Here is my concern for you as a dasher, okay? Let me know what you think about this, if it's true, if it's not a real concern, whatever. Platinum gets the top priority, but you need an astounding 70% acceptance rate, and the same thing for the gold increased priority. You need a 70% acceptance rate. And then even silver, you need 50%. So are 70% and 50% of orders worth it in your marketplace? If you answer no, like I can't make sense of accepting 70% of orders to go for platinum or gold, or 50% even to go for silver, then here's the takeaway. You are now effectively fourth in line for access to higher paying orders, because the top priority goes to platinum drivers, then gold drivers, then silver drivers, and then possibly you if you're not meeting those metrics. That is my big concern. Now, I try to give you a neutral stance here strategy wise. So I also thought, well, how many platinum, gold, and silver drivers are there really going to be though? Answer that down below, because those drivers need 50 to 70% acceptance rate. Are there really going to be that many drivers that go for that? You might be saying yes. And if you're in a larger marketplace, the answer might be yes. If you have more full-time or longer hour drivers, they might go for that, versus maybe a medium or a smaller marketplace. Maybe you're not going to have to worry about that a lot. What do you think? My big takeaway for you, and statistically, DoorDash has said this as well, statistically, that like 90% of dashers are dashing 5 hours a week or less. a week, not a day, a week. Most people are doing this stuff as a side hustle, and it should be multi-apping anyway. So a lot of this, I will tell you, you probably don't have to worry about other than that top line thing that we talked about, the priority access to higher paying orders. And I think that's going to come down to when and if, of course, this comes to your market, because right now it's only affecting the 3 marketplaces. Otherwise, look, if you're the casual dasher, if you're doing 5 to 10 hours a week, don't change anything, in my opinion. Look for the good dollars to mile ratio. It's the basics that we teach you here. We have a whole course on it, Mastering Delivery. It's at yourdrivermight.com. You can check it out if you're new. The best hotspots, okay? The power strips, we call it. The dollars to mile ratio, the dollars to time ratio. How much time is it really going to take? Reserving your cancellations. If you're standing there 10, 15 plus minutes in that gray zone, you reserve your cancellations for that. Multi-apping, if it's dead slow, if there's not a lot of bonus pay, maybe Uber Eats, Grubhub, or another niche entirely is paying better. I think for most people right now in the gig economy, that's still the move. It's not changing the strategies to fit in gold or platinum levels. I think really, again, that's going to affect the smaller percent of dashers that are driving those more hours. But again, let me know what you think about this down below.